Hello everyone, and welcome back to Stories with me, Jesse. Today we're once again visiting Reddit/tifu, or Today I F***ed Up, for some truly embarrassing stories of people who made some boneheaded mistakes. Let me know what you think of these stories in the comments, as well as any suggestions you might have that we may just use in a future installment. Brace yourselves for some epic fudge-ups, cause we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, Today I fudged up by paying $70 for a $29 haircut. I went and got a $29 haircut, $29 after tax. I went to pay with my card, stuck it in, then remembered I had cash, so I clicked decline on the card reader and then went to pay with cash instead. All while conversing with the woman who just cut my hair. I hand her $40 and she looked shocked. I said, I don't need change. She said, oh my gosh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. She asked me again, oh my gosh, are you serious? Seriously? I was like, yes. And she's like, thank you so much. This is literally going to buy me and my kids dinner. And I was like, geez, she must get bad tips. I start to walk away and she goes, oh, actually your card transaction timed out. You need to reinsert it. It didn't go through. At which point I realized she had no idea I meant to pay for all of it with cash and thought I was giving her a $40 tip for a $29 haircut. TLDR, decided to cancel card transaction and pay with cash. Barber thought I was giving them the cash as a tip, and I was too embarrassed to correct them. Well, that's gotta hurt the old wallet, but I can't foul you for having a heart and not wanting to take her happiness away after she assumed you were giving her a massive tip. Still, $11 wouldn't have been too shabby. And most people would have just politely explained the situation, but at least this fudge-up made someone's day, which is way different from what you'd typically expect from these kinds of stories. Moving on, our next story is called, Today I fudged up by walking behind an attractive woman who was walking her dog. While attempting to get back in shape, I've started power walking and doing short stints of jogging to try and build up my stamina. Today was an especially nice day, so there were a lot of people out jogging and walking as well. As I was jogging up to an intersection, a really attractive woman with a very fit butt happened to turn the corner and started walking the way I'd come. She was out walking a dog and ended up going the same direction as me. This coincidentally ended up being about the time I'd exhausted myself with jogging and started walking to catch my breath. I, being a guy, couldn't help but take notice of her very nice rear end. I wasn't trying to be a perv about it, nor did I plan on saying anything rude. I was just admiring. Well, for whatever reason, I happened to look over at the large dog she was walking with and was confronted by the largest pair of dog danglers I'd ever seen. The abrupt change from admiring a woman who takes amazing care of her body to these two huge furry tennis balls swaying back and forth apparently broke my mind for a short period of time. I'm guessing the woman had seen me jogging a ways behind her as she turned the corner because she moved off into the grass and looked behind her. I imagined to let me pass, assuming I was still jogging and not realizing was now walking at the same pace as her. She saw me looking down, and I could see her scowl a bit, thinking I was staring at her butt, which in all fairness I had been moments before. However, at that moment, what she caught me staring at was her dog's obscenely large balls, with what was probably a mixture of shock and awe. Her scowl immediately faded, and she started laughing so hard she had to stop walking because she almost walked into a street sign. Was at a complete loss of how to respond and was tempted to say I was looking at her butt, as if that would somehow help me salvage my dignity. She eventually regained her composure. I blurted out some sort of apology and used the newfound adrenaline to jog most of the way home. But that's not all. Later in the day, I ran into her again as she was entering her apartment in the same complex as me. As it turns out, she's one of my new neighbors. F*** my life. TLDR, I was going for a jog/walk and ended up behind a beautiful woman who caught me staring at her dog's huge balls. Oh my lord, that's hilarious. I can't believe the dog's danglers were so impressive. You couldn't help but stare at them until this woman caught you checking them out. At least she couldn't help but laugh about it. Although the incident will probably make for some awkward encounters at your apartment complex. Our next story is titled, Today I fudged up by pretending to be deaf for the entire quarantine. So, 3 months ago, or whenever it was that the quarantine started, I started an online course for a few subjects. To provide some background, these aren't my school classes or anything, and I've never met these people before. There are maybe 10 other kids in class, and the teacher is actually pretty great. So the first 2 days go pretty well, but on the third day I up big time. We were in between a physics class that had already been going on for an hour, and I'd completely gotten distracted halfway through. I have an incredibly low attention span, and this was already too much for me. When the teacher called my name to answer his question, I had no idea what he'd been talking about. So I tried to Google it. However, I have shitty internet, so it took like really long to load, and the teacher was getting pissed as to why I wasn't responding and why I wasn't typing. So, completely freaking out, I decided to text him on the Google Meet chat and make an excuse that my laptop's audio and microphone are not working today. And I've been reading the subtitles, which take quite some time to load, so I hadn't quite gotten his question. In my immense panic, I phrased this somewhat vaguely and said, "I can't actually hear. I've been reading the subtitles. They take quite some time to load." To which the instructor said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't aware that you are deaf." In my intense panic and anxiety, I just went along with it. Dumb as f***. It actually worked out fine. I typed out all the answers sent to me, and even bought a hearing aid that I sometimes wore in class. Now I say sometimes because I don't actually have the focus and commitment to remember to put it on every class. When asked about it, I told the people in class that even with the hearing aid, I can't hear much, so I don't usually bother wearing it. They bought it. Everyone in class likes me a lot now too, and they find me very endearing. There's a girl, Carla, who says I have the most beautiful smile she's ever seen, so this was actually going really well for me. But like most of my antics, this backfired on me, big time. When I made this godforsaken decision all that time ago, I was sure I'd get away with it. We were never going to meet in real life. However, about a week ago, the instructor decided to meet in real life as the lockdown in my country has been lifted. I spent all night watching videos of deaf people and trying to figure out how to behave. I decided to pretend to also be completely dumb so I wouldn't have to try to speak like them. It seemed very hard, and I didn't want to try. So anyway, we meet up and everything goes well. No one uncovers my secret or anything. I spend the entire IRL meet with Carla, who is completely f***ing stunning in real life. She's smart, she's funny, she's kind. We keep handing each other notes on tissue papers, and it's the cutest shit ever. I haven't ever been this attracted to anyone in my entire life. Towards the end of the meet, however, Carla hands me a tissue paper with one little heartbreaking sentence on it. "Will you date me?" Panicking, I tell her I need some time to think, and she's chill with it. I'm supposed to be meeting up with her tomorrow. I can't pretend to be deaf and dumb while dating her. It's f***ing impossible. But if I have to keep this charade up, I'll have to let her go, and I don't want to do that either. There's also the other option where I tell her it was all an act. Best case scenario is the extreme embarrassment plus amazing girlfriend, and the worst case scenario is she thinks I'm an asshole and I lose her anyway. TLDR, I pretended to be deaf because I wasn't paying attention in class, and now I might be missing out on an amazing girlfriend. Edit. She just texted me what time to pick her up. The date is actually tonight, not tomorrow, so I have way less time to make this decision than I expected. Haha, I'm like a disaster that keeps on happening. Anyways, you should have an update in about 6 to 7 hours, which is when I'll meet her. Update. So this is the update y'all have been waiting for. I just got back from the date with Carla. So basically I prepared really hard for the date, Googled what the appropriate flowers for apologizing for your lies are, and got white orchids. I then put on my best clothes and set out. She'd come to the date with a cute little notepad and 2 pencils for us to write notes with, which melted me instantly. But I was so anxious and nervous that at first I couldn't bring myself to tell her, but as we sat waiting for our order to arrive, I kinda snapped because of guilt and scribbled down into the notebook, "Hey, there's no easy way to break this, but I'm not actually deaf or dumb." To which she replied with, "I know you're not deaf, but you are pretty dumb." At which point I said, "What the f***?" out loud. She then laughed and explained that she thought I was so cute that she'd Googled me long ago, and found my Instagram, which has highlighted stories from concerts where I'm screaming and vibing. So she only asked me out to figure out how long I'd keep it going. So she was actually playing me the whole time. I was feeling pretty bummed that she only wanted to date me for that, but nevertheless, I apologized profusely and showed her the Reddit post to explain myself. Best move ever. Thank you so much, everyone in the comments who asked me to do this. She found the post funny and cute and adorkable. I told her I totally understand if she wants to end the date now, but she didn't. We had a great time and aren't officially dating or anything, but we did set up a second date for next Wednesday. She also told me that while she understands why I did what I did, and that anxiety, especially social anxiety, is so hard to deal with, but she also believes that I was a little offensive, especially with the hearing aid. She explained to me why that was so insensitive, and I'd like to apologize for anyone I might have offended on here. It really wasn't my intention. Also, for our second date, we're planning to volunteer at a center for deaf kids so I can redeem myself. Thank you, f***ing Reddit. Y'all might have just got me a girlfriend. Holy crap, that story was an epic fudge-up. It's insane that a lie that started from your lack of an attention span ended up leading you to a girl you really like. You must have been spiraling, trying to figure out how to tell her the truth. But she knew the whole time! The update really completed this story, and I hope things work out for you two. Isn't love a funny thing? Our next story is called... Today I fudged up by telling an entire room of children to rub one out. Happened a few years back. I was a summer camp counselor for a camp of about 60 kids, and before every meal, we sang a sort of prayer song. One of the songs was Rub-a-Dub-Dub. It goes like this. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, yay God! Every night before dinner, a few counselors run up to the front of the room, choose a song, and then lead the group into song. I ran up with a few co-counselors, ready to lead the group into Rub-a-dub-dub, instead of saying, alright, we're singing Rub-a-dub-dub tonight. I try to come up with something cute and fun to let camp know what song we're singing. Instead of something cute, I yell, alrighty, everybody, let's rub one out. Everyone goes silent. The other counselors sitting with their campers just stare at me open-mouthed. I have no idea what I've done wrong. I look at the counselors next to me who don't know what to do, and we awkwardly lead the group into the dinner song. As soon as we're done, I run over to my phone and Google what rubbing one out means, and realize that I've told 60 children to masturbate. TLDR, camp sings a song called Rub-a-Dub-Dub before dinner. Instead of using the actual song name, I yell, let's rub one out, to 60 kids because I don't know what it meant. Edit for clarification, the camp is not actually a Christian camp, and I am not religious at all. The staff were usually pretty diverse religiously as well. The owners are Christian, so they worked in a lot of Christian themes. If the campers don't want to participate in singing, they don't have to. Edit for clarification, I'm female. How do I even begin to reflect on what I've just read? I get how this was all just a big misunderstanding, but as far as tifus go, this has gotta be one of the worst I've ever read. Thank God those children didn't really know what you were saying. And I'm sure that years and years from now, this story is bound to get some laughs in social situations. But what did you guys think of this story, or any of today's in general? I always love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in with me, Jesse. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and check out what other stories I have for you. I hope each and every one of you has a great day ahead. Try and think things through before you do something stupid, but we're all human, so sometimes there's no avoiding a tifu moment. I'll catch you in the next one.